Well, hello, 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 my fellow campers. It's your host, GamingCamperDad, and I'm back with another live stream for the drive home. That's right, we're driving back home late. It's Saturday morning, and it's time to chitty-chat about whatever you guys feel the mood to chat about. We're going to chat about it. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on in the world today. You got stuff that's going on with ICE. You've got shit blowing up. You got AI losing its fucking mind. It's great. Aren't you guys excited about everything? I'm excited about everything. Hopefully, everything is going wonderful for you guys. 2026 isn't too bad for a start. I know so far it's not too bad for me, but, you know, you never know. Society may completely collapse upon us and we are stuck forever dealing with the chaos. Ooh, I have water. Ah! I don't have to stop. First thing, I'll stop on the way. When I get closer to home, I can get gas. That's good. That was needed. Oh, baby. Well, let's see if we get anybody to hop on my live streams. Lately, I haven't had success with my live streams, which is weird. Usually get a pretty decent crowd, but as of late, I really haven't gotten a whole lot. It's weird. I don't understand. I don't get it. Maybe it's some YouTube algorithm updating, and it's just being a giant fucking pain in the ass. And if I don't have, I mean, I have followers, but, you know, I'd say 90% of them are going to just hop on my live and start chit-chatting with me, or 95. So, and most of the other ones are going to be asleep because I drive late. So, we'll see if anybody hops on. Last time I did this, I didn't get anybody on here. And I didn't see any chats, too, which is weird. I don't know what's been going on lately. I'm going to have to figure it out. Maybe there's an issue with YouTube on my end. I don't know. It's just been weird. Although I've been hit with a couple copyright strikes for bullshit from playing Roblox on live because for some reason Roblox is a fucking awful fucking gaming company. But who knows? Hey, what's up? First viewer, what's up? How are you doing? How's your 2026 so far? Tell me all about it as I make my way home on this long journey. How you doing? Want to say hi to me? Want to make me not feel alone? Hey everybody, what's up? How y'all doing? Tell me how your 2026 going so far. How excited are you about all the shit that's coming out and all the chaos we're living in? Isn't it great? Love it. It's like the end of the world. We get front row tickets, baby. Yeah! I love it. Well, hello, Bella. Marie, how are you this fine morning? How is your Saturday starting off? You're up very, very late. But how is it going so far? Is it awesome? Is it cool? Is it great? I hope so. Hey, what's up? Intro. I'm butchering your name. I'm sorry. I can barely see. I'm old. I have old man eyes, damn it. I can't see for shit. Not bad at all. Just tired. Oh, I get it. I'm fucking exhausted too. And I got to drive home for 2 hours, so it's going to be a fun ride. It's going to be awesome. But the best thing is that when I drive home, there's nobody on the fucking road, so, and it's basically a straight shot all the way. So, how excited are you for 2026? We just started and things have already gone to shit. I can tell you right now, some of the stuff that's been announced on the technology side is mind-boggling to me. The cost of RAM is outrageous. The cost of graphics cards is insane. $5,000 for a graphics card to me is absolutely terrible. It already sucks. Well, I hope it doesn't suck for the rest of the year. I hope it's going to be awesome. just you got to break through that initial storm until you get to the calm, sweet beaches of paradise. That's right. We persevere. That's how we got to do it. We don't let the world try to drag us down. We pull ourselves out of the muck and do great things. Well, hopefully it gets better for you. I really do. I do hope that you have a great 2026 and whatever's sucking stops sucking and starts being awesome. I'm gonna make this year great. God's given me talents, so I'm gonna use them. There you go. That's the attitude you have to have. You got talents, people want to see it, you show them. Don't sit there and let the world try to tell you you can't show you off yourself. What are we up to tonight? Justin Hogan, we are up to chit-chatting about whatever we want to chit-chat about. Whatever you guys are in the mood for, it's dealer's choice tonight, and you guys are the dealers for me. So you tell me what you want to talk about. Duck, what's up? Hello. Demon Slayer, hi, how you doing? Maybe the music stuff will start working. Hey, I want to hear what your music is. I hope it's awesome, and I'm going to go check out your channel, and I'm sure it's going to be amazing when I go check it out. By the way, has anybody seen that that announced, was it Razer AI companion thing, whatever it is they put up? What do I think about the nuclear planes being spotted all over the globe? So I'm going to tell you something. I've got a few connections in the Air Force. That is not uncommon. There is constant movement of major aircraft that are nuclear, that can be armed with nuclear weapons. It's been like that forever. And I got a colleague of mine that's in the Air Force, and that's just not uncommon. It's like the videos you see where people are like, they show videos of like a train pulling a whole bunch of military equipment. That's common. I want to tell you what America is really great at when it comes to, it's actually the best in the world when it comes to military, is our logistics. Out of everybody in the world, we can move men and equipment anywhere we want to, unlike any other country on this planet. And it's an astronomical, feat that we do that. Quick history lesson. In World War II, we literally had a ship that transported ice cream across the Atlantic for troops that were going to go fight in Europe. And that was in the 40s. We found a way logistically to transport a metric shit ton of ice cream across the Atlantic to provide ice cream for our soldiers in World War II. Because at the time, most of those soldiers had grown up in ice cream bars because Prohibition took place in the 30s. So the bar scene wasn't really there for those kids. So when they got older and they went to war, they were more used to ice cream bars, not the bombers. They moved the air ACC from DC to LA for some reason. That I didn't know. Now that's something I was not aware of. I'm going to tell you, we are probably a hair drop away from an active war with China. The amount of shit that is going on in the world, I'm going to tell you from the people I know, I think the conservative estimate is within the next 5 to 6 years we'll be in a hot war with China. It'll start with Taiwan. The big issue, and then this is one thing with the Venezuela thing that people are freaking out about and talking about, we just went down there for oil. It really is more of an issue with China's involvement with Venezuela. So Venezuela was the amount of oil that Venezuela has and was selling to the Chinese and to the Russians, which is funny because they're selling oil to the Russians, and the Russians are then repackaging it and selling it to other countries. Us going in there and taking Maduro out of that equation prevents and slows down China's war plans for at least, I think what I was told from a few of my friends, for the next couple of years. So that's why there's a lot of push to bring a lot of American manufacturing back. There's a lot of push to get Greenland. It's really, it's a really interesting time. And I will be honest with you, a lot of the stuff that you see where people talk on social media that it's, it's for, Trump's ego, or it's, we're going for oil, or we're doing that. It's not really that. There's a lot of nuances that are behind the scenes that most of the general public is not going to be aware of, and they're not going to pay attention to it because it's not on TikTok and it's not on Instagram. E-48 Night Watch, it's a communication plane, not a fighter or bomber, an aircraft command, control, and access to SATCOM. Yeah. So if it's moved from DC to LA, there might be some rumblings over in the Chinese area, right? The Chinese active movements around Taiwan. I want you to understand, Taiwan is the number one producer of microprocessors in the world. It is a key asset in military and economical technology. The AI weapons race is what I'm going to call it. The AI weapons race is on, right? And the top two contenders are China and the United States. My guess is spreading our command structure just in case. I'm guessing, given Russia threats. I'm going to be honest. Russia, I don't have as much concern with Russia as I do with China, right? China is a no-joke adversary, right? They're not playing games. Their drone swarm technology. You've seen the New Year's celebrations in China with their drone swarms that they do. That's not just for civilian application. That's also for military application as well. The fact that Russia had a logistical nightmare of invading the Ukraine, which is a neighboring country, and had such a logistical issue, should tell you that their ability to wage war across the Pacific is not reality. That whole situation, China is the big dog in that group now. Russia is, I would say, a more regional threat than a global threat. Yeah, Russia's still living on their old bravado of the Cold War era, and a lot of the older generation has this mentality of Russia is the Soviet Union, and the Soviet Union was a global threat, but now it's not. It's going to be, I hope and pray that we don't end up in a hot war, and that at some point the people of China, somehow overthrow their leaders in China, right? But that's kind of a good luck. Oh my God, boy, what's up, dude? How have you been? From my research, I honestly don't think Russia has the capability to leap up with the equipment. They don't. They honestly don't. They're like I said, they're a regional power. They're not a global threat anymore. To be honest with you, most countries nowadays are more regional. Like the British, don't get me wrong, the British has its own prowess with military, but the British, the French, the German, they all rely on American logistics to get their troops to where they need to be. The big dog in NATO is the United States. And all those countries rely on the United States being able to transport their troops to the points of contact. That's the bottom line. That's the honest to God truth. That's how it's gonna be. Ping is for too loved. I don't think he's too loved. I think he's feared. The man has done political purges so much and so often, nobody really wants to get out of line. Good, but I made a ChatGPT group chat. Oh, nice. Telling everyone to be patient, making us look bad as well. Silent Giant. Right now, the way China is, right, their manufacturing is their key, but more and more every year, more companies are pulling their manufacturing facilities out of China. Hey, what's up, bloody skateboard? How you doing? So more and more they're pulling their, more and more companies are pulling their manufacturing out of China, specifically because they can see the writing on the wall that the possibility with a hot war with China and the United States could happen the next, 5 to 10 years. So you don't want to be that company that's stuck in China that's an American company, and then China seizes your goods. So, and that's why there's a big push in this administration to bring back a lot of manufacturing into the country. We have spent the last 40 years reliant on Chinese manufacturing, right? And I'm going to tell you right now, if you do your research, China has spent the last 2 decades, everything they put in has been filled with their malware, software, spyware. So it's specifically designed. I mean, there was an article that came out a couple months ago about how the United States government was finding so much of their electronic equipment had spyware and malware in it from the Chinese, right? From the people that work in the Air Force and work in the Army and in Army intelligence can tell you, for every one person in the Army or the Air Force, the Navy or whatever that's working in counterintelligence for cyber security, China has 5. Or no, sorry, China has 100 is what he told me. So understand, like, it is insane. Well, I'm glad to hear that, bloody. I'm glad you're doing good. I hope your 2026 is going so far. We are talking about whatever you guys feel like talking about. They're mostly defensive, not offensive. So if we don't provoke them, I don't believe they will do anything drastic. So I will say China does a lot of posturing. That's the truth. But at some point, China is looking at Taiwan because of its because of Taiwan's manufacturing of microprocessors as a key component to control their history of war. I don't see. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, China is not going to be like, oh, we're going to invade the world. This isn't going to be like World War II, right? They're going to try to, in my mind, possibly South Korea, become an economic powerhouse, control markets of the future, and eventually wear down the United States financially, right? It's the same thing the United States did during the Cold War with the Soviet Union. Eventually the Soviet Union just ran out of fucking money, right? So if we get into a hot war with China, it's going to be because of Taiwan. And it's not going to be because of, we got to protect Taiwan because we have a security pact. It's going to be, we got to protect Taiwan because Taiwan is a key component of keeping the Chinese from dominating the economic global market and basically having its influence to push their social contract. The Chinese social credit system that they have is fucking terrifying. And I've heard people in this country say, well, that would work out. They would keep people being decent and honest. No, because it all depends on who is in control. You may like the person that's in control now, but down the line, if that power structure changes to the other side, then your social credit score is shot. And in China, social credit score affects your ability to rent a home, own a home, travel, bank, buy food. Like, it's insane how terrifying the Chinese social credit score is. Like, there's people that are literally been de-housed, de-banked, can't travel, can't get a train or bus ticket, so they're basically stuck. They're just homeless. And they're forced in that system out. And I know people are like, well, our credit system's like that. Our credit system is not a social credit system. Their social credit system is based off your loyalty to the government. And I want you to imagine, right, people having that mentality of like, well, we should be supporting our government. I don't trust the government as far as I can throw them, okay? I'm a man of history. I got a master's degree in history, and I can tell you right now, the government has gone and done some fucked up shit behind the American public's back in the name of the greater good. Love it or hate it, that's the facts. You may not like what I'm saying, but that's how it is. Right? Perfect example, the Tuskegee Syphilis Project. The government ran a syphilis study on African American men for, I think, from like the 1940s to the 1970s. And it was such a fucking, so fucking evil. So what they did was they were doing placebo tests on African American men. They told them that we're going to cure your syphilis. You just keep coming in and we're going to give you treatment. But they weren't treating them. What they were doing was giving them placebos and then seeing what the long-term effects of untreated syphilis was. And these fucking menaces hired an African American female nurse as their head nurse to build trust in that community so they could continue on. The only reason it was discovered because I think a New York Times reporter was investigating what was going on and thus blew the story up. Now here's a kicker. One of the researchers of that syphilis study in the Tuskegee area left. I think he went to Panama and ran a similar study, first starting with prisoners in that area. Then it escalated to the locals, women, children. That fucking bad. And guess what that fucker did? He came back and worked for the CDC till the fucking 90s. That's the government. Do I have Fortnite? Yes, I do have Fortnite on my computer now. Me and my son did a live stream last week playing Fortnite. So it's up on the channel in the live stream section. You can go watch that if you want. We'll probably be doing that again tomorrow from 5 to 7 is what I'm shooting for. So, like, the government, in my mind, is most of the time not trustworthy. And especially nowadays, the way the government is ridiculous. Both sides do not give a shit. This is what geeks me out. People will sit there and go like, well, the Democrats will do this, or the Republicans will do that. I'm going to tell you right now, every one of those fuckers in Congress and the Senate, I won't say every one of them, there's probably a few of them that actually give a shit, but 95% of them don't give a fuck about the public. They're there to get rich and get their pockets filled and stay there as long as possible and then bounce the fuck out. They do not care. 100%. It's mind-boggling to me that people do not realize this. Their whole purpose is to get super rich. Dan Crenshaw on the Republican side. talks about how congressmen and women should be able to openly trade on the stock market. And you know they're getting insider information. Ilhan Omar went from, a $45,000 wealth. She was worth $45,000, and now being in Congress, she's worth $30 million. They're all corrupt. They all don't give a shit. They don't answer to the people. They answer to the corporation and the lobbyists. The way we changed after going global with the world wars is incredible to me. From third world poor isolationist country to a global superpower, pretty much. Yeah, and so America is one of the few countries, like, in its history that just advanced, right? Now, America didn't really start becoming a superpower or a global power until after the First World War. Because at the time, and even then, even after the First World War and after the Great Depression, we were more of a regional power, right? But we were a manufacturing giant. We could mass produce everything in the United States. When World War II kicked off, it is the point of which we went from more of a regional power, right, in this hemisphere, to a global power, because we went from going from making fridges and microwaves, shit like that, to, okay, we're going to build a shit ton of tanks, bombs, ships, and we're going to go fuck shit up because somebody touched our boats. Oh, and we're also going to learn how to develop a weapon that is the sun and be able to drop it on somebody. That is what the United States did in a span of like half a decade. Right? It's insane how quickly America kind of blew up the way it did, right? World War I was an indication of how quickly America could mobilize into a superpower. But after World War I, Americans weren't really like, oh, we want to be a global power. They went back to being isolationists. Like, no, that's Europe's problems. We don't keep that shit over there. We don't want to deal with that, right? But once World War II kicked off and Japan attacked us and then Germany declared war on us, we were like, all right, y'all want to fuck around? Y'all gonna find out. We were the China of that time. Yeah. The reason why China has exploded economically the way it did is because of NAFTA, right? NAFTA provided China to explode economically, and the Chinese government realized they couldn't just be a communist government because they weren't going to be able to dominate. So they changed their economic system enough to where they could bring free market principles, but not fully, right? Most of every company that is opened up in China to manufacture, they have to have, I think they're required to have some member on their board or in their management that is a part of the Chinese government, Chinese Communist Party. 100% they have to have somebody in there, right? That is, I believe, a requirement in China in order for you to actually produce in China. And because of that, Americans became too reliant on China to make goods, right? And companies, right, decided, oh, well, we no longer have to produce and manufacture in the United States. We can take those jobs that we're paying people good money to do, which, because in America we have a lot more regulatory restrictions on how things are made. The government, and I work in manufacturing, I can tell you right now, the government does not play when it comes to certain parts of its manufacturing processes. They expect you to be following your codes, your requirements, your SOPs, your GMP, everything, right? Whereas China is more like, we're just getting shit out as fast as we can. But as time has gone on, more and more companies, like I said, are moving stuff out of China. So Mexico is becoming a big manufacturing hub. I believe Honduras is also doing that. other parts of South America are also going through an economic boom of manufacturing because companies are pulling their stuff out of China in order to produce in other areas. Yeah, pretty much. Their mentality, right, is they have social systems, but it's all based off the loyalty to the communist government, period, right? And what they look at, the parts of capitalism, is we're going to use those tools in order to push our agenda, right? They can't be fully communist, and that's why I always laugh when somebody's like, well, I mean, if we just had communism doesn't fucking work. You know why? Because people are corruptible. This utopian idea where everybody's just going to work well together, we're all just going to work for the collective good, is just not possible. Because I can tell you, most of the people that sit there and say, I want communism, are going to be the last people to say, hey, guys, I need you to come over here and help me dig this hole. Well, there's other people that get them to do it. When you have people that are too lazy or don't want to do certain things, are going to say, oh, well, I'm not a laborer, I'm doing this. Sorry, it's just never going to work. When Russia was communist and Stalin took over, Stalin was a thug. Like, the man was legitimately a thug and a criminal. And when Lenin died and Stalin took over, you literally had a criminal go, oh, baby, I'm going to fleece the fuck out of everybody. So that's where you're at, right? You're not going to have some utopian government because you have people. People are corruptible. People are evil. People can be evil. Very few people in this world allow power to corrupt them, right? Very few people. Most, when they get an iota of power or control, will abuse it at some point or another, unfortunately, right? Hell, take a look at cancel culture, right? Cancel culture is not a people trying to be like, I'm doing the right thing. It's people who found a way to have an iota of power and control, and they're using it in order to control what they think is right, right? And one of the funniest things, or not the funniest, but one of the most enlightening things I ever heard, right, was, what's his name? The German actor who played in Inglourious Bastards as the German SS officer who's called the Jewhawk, right? He was asked, hey, so what did you do to prepare yourself to be that evil and that menacing, right? But what he said was, he's like, well, I didn't. Because my character didn't think he was evil. He thought he was doing the right thing. And that's the thing, right? People who do evil things don't think they're doing evil things. They think they're doing what they believe is right. Thanos, right, from Marvel, is a perfect example, right? He didn't think he was doing evil. He thought he was doing what was best for the universe by culling half of the universe to save the other half. To everybody else, the guy's fucking nuts. He's evil. But to Thanos, he's like, no, I'm not evil. I'm just doing what others cannot do. And that's the thing, right? Evil people don't think they're evil. They think they're doing what they believe is right. Bottom line, when people talk, well, for the greater good, there's always a caveat when they say something like that. Well, it's for the greater good. It's for the greater good. When that comes out, I'm at a heavy pause for most people, because I'm like, it's probably not the greater good. It's probably what you think is the greater good, but it's probably not. so many people will be like, it's for the greater good, it's for the greater good. And it's one of those things, like when I hear people talk, I'm like, no. It's like, so I'll give you a little insight into me, right? So my wife is from another country. And when me and her got married, we went through the proper procedures in order to bring her here and for her to get her green card and then eventually become a citizen, right? Did the same thing for my in-laws. My in-laws live with me now. They're green card holders. We went through the proper process, right? But I hear a lot of people go, well, you know, people who come here illegally are here to work jobs that Americans don't want to do. Which to me is insane. Yeah, Americans don't want to work those jobs. You know why? Because they don't want to get paid fucking bullshit pay for hard jobs like that. And the thing is, when you say something like that, you're encouraging companies to take advantage of people who come here knowing that they could be removed at any time, and companies will take advantage of those people and be like, well, you know, if you don't do what I tell you, I'm just going to call INS or ICE and you're going back to where you came from. So you better shut the fuck up and you better skip lunches and your breaks and get this shit done. And people don't think about that. They just think like, oh, well, they're here to work the construction jobs, or they're here to work the landscaping jobs. I grew up blue collar my entire life, all right? And only recently have I turned into a white collar employee. I have laid stone, I have hung drywall, I have framed houses, I have done roof work, I have picked watermelons when I was younger. I'm going to tell you right now, there are a fair amount of Americans that if they got told, hey, you can get paid a fair amount of money to go work this job, they'd go work that job, right? But the problem is, there's a lot of these industries that don't want to pay that. So they'll pay somebody under the table and use that influence of like, hey, I know you're not supposed to be here, so you're going to do what I fucking tell you, and if you don't, you're getting sent back home. And that's what people don't understand. They think that everybody that comes here illegally is coming here because, you know, they're running from something. No, they're coming here for a better life. Don't get me wrong. I get it. There's a lot of people that are trying to change their life situation. But there's a lot of people that are doing the same thing and they're waiting in line. Now, do I think the immigration system is a convoluted fucking mess? Yes, absolutely. 100%. It is fucking insane. The amount of paperwork I had to do and the amount of money I had to spend to get my wife over here. It is fucking bonkers. I've had these conversations with people I know, and they're good friends of mine. I'm a pretty independent person, and I'll talk to either side, right? And I have nuance. I have understanding. Like, and what people don't get is, don't think that somebody coming here and doing a job, right, that you think most Americans aren't going to do. No, you don't. You think that because you work in a completely different environment. When somebody says, oh, well, they're doing jobs Americans don't want to do, I can probably guess that person probably works in an office building, works in an environmental or controlled environment. You know, their worst day is going to be Karen being an asshole at the water fountain, or Joe saying an off-color joke. Okay, that's probably who I'm thinking of when somebody goes, well, they're coming here to do jobs Americans won't do. But for a lot of Americans that live in the middle of nowhere, getting offered a job in construction, getting paid $25 an hour, they'll absolutely go do that. But they're not going to go work that job for $10 an hour because it's not worth it for them. I'll give you an example. I worked for an agricultural lab where we tested soils and fertilizers and stuff, and we'd send out reports to the farmers to say, hey, this is what your soil breakdown is. This is what you need to do in order to improve your yields of your crops, right? It's a pretty cool job. But the guy who owned the company registered it not as a scientific lab. He registered it as an agricultural business. So he didn't have to pay me time and a half overtime, because if you are listed or registered as an agricultural business, you do not have to pay your employees time and a half overtime. At least back then, that's what it was. So how many people do you think are going to want to go work in a field, right, picking fruits and vegetables and shit like that for 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and then being told, well, you don't get time and a half, you get straight time the entire time? Yeah, a lot of people don't want to do that. And that's when farmers have taken advantage of illegal immigration. They're like, oh, well, they're coming here to work, they're gonna pick our fruits. And to me, it just sounds really fucking classless, It's like, oh, well, they come here and pick my fruit. Fuck you sideways. Because in all honesty, if your mentality is like, oh, well, I want illegal immigrants here to pick my vegetables, you're a piece of shit. 100% you're a piece of shit. It's what bothers me a lot of times, man. And you're making great points. Trust me, I'm reading your chats. I'm glancing as I'm doing my ramble on. It's one of those things that bothers me. Most of those people that talk about this stuff probably have never worked a hard labor job in their life. I've been working since I was 12. My dad picked me up from middle school, took me to a house, gave me knee pads and a tool belt, and said, all right, son, we're putting floors in today. And I've been working since. So for me, that work doesn't bother me. And there's a lot of Americans like me that grew up doing stuff like that if things came worse to worse, be like, all right, well, looks like I'm going to go lay stone, or looks like I'm going to go build houses, or looks like I'm going to drive trucks. That is what it is. But who they had plenty of there. Yeah. I'll give you an example of something that happened. I think it was, I want to say Louisiana or Missouri. To give you an idea of what companies, even big companies, will do to abuse illegal immigration. So I think it was Missouri, and there were kids that were going to school, and you can look this up. I think this happened in 2014, 2015. There were kids that were going to school, and then they had stopped going to school for like a couple weeks. So the school district had called the local police department to figure out what was going on. So the police department showed up to the parents' house, and the family wasn't there. The kids weren't there. The mom and dad weren't there. And mind you, these kids are not like 15, 16, 17. They're like 11, 12, 13-year-olds. So the police start going around asking the neighbors. The neighbors says, oh, well, the parents work at the Toyota parts plant down the road. So the police went there to go talk to the parents. And when they got there, the kids were in the fucking plant working. This is not a mom and pop shop. This was a plant in Missouri that was building parts for Toyota, and were caught using children to make parts. Why? Because their parents were illegal immigrants, and they took advantage of them and said, hey, you better come in here and you better fucking work, because if you don't, your ass is getting sent back. That was a company. That was a large company that did that. That's one of those things where people do not understand. They will take advantage of people who know that they have done something they shouldn't have done, and they're trying to do their best not to get caught. And companies are like, oh, you're not legal? Well, we'll pay you. But we're only going to pay you like a third of what we would pay an actual citizen or a green card holder. And if you fucking complain, your ass is getting sent back. That's the thing, right? People just don't understand that nuance to that stuff. And it really just kind of like, you guys got to think about that a little bit more. Like, I get it. I really do get it. I understand. Like, it's not nice seeing what we're seeing right now, right? It doesn't look very good. But the bottom line is, these people are getting taken advantage of by other people. And it needs to stop. Or you have people that come here and they take advantage of the system. It's the bottom line. Right now, there's a lot of Americans who can't afford groceries, who can't afford rent, can't afford a vehicle payment. They can't do anything, and they got to sit there and struggle. And there are people living off the system, taking advantage of that. Oh, hello. Oh, Mango Muncher, what's up? How you doing? It's been a while. How was your 2025 into 2026? We're talking about random stuff. We've been talking about AI, possible war with China, immigration, all kinds of stuff. I cannot complain. Texas. Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you. Like I said, my wife's an immigrant. We know people that are from her country that we know that are friend groups, because my wife tends to hang around with people that come from her country, which is fine. That's what I would expect. But there's some of them are just eating the system. Like, I know some of them are like, they brag about it. And I'm like, and I've told my wife, I'm like, I don't want those people in my house. I don't trust them, because I'm pretty sure they're not only committing fraud, they're committing theft at some points. I can't complain, Mango Muncher. It's been pretty good so far. Busy, start of the year, back to work. When you're good at your job, everybody wants to pile the work on you. So, and there's a fair amount of people that have learned to game the system. The problem is, this machine is so big, there's not enough people to check and, verify when information is given to them. They're just like, all right, you sign the check, just get the fuck out. You know what I mean? What do? I work in manufacturing, right? Specifically in the medical field. I started out, like I said, I grew up blue collar most of my life. And I've done a litany of different jobs. I have worked as a contractor. I have worked in piping construction. I have been a bouncer. I have worked as a jet ski guide and boat rental manager. I worked for the post office. I worked as a landscaper. I picked fruit. What else have I done? I bartended once. I drove a cab. I drove Uber. And now I make stuff in the medical industry. Well, actually, now I'm a manager. Right? But I started out as an operations tech, making medicine. So. I love this chat rabbit. It keeps me going. Get another water. I got another hour driving. I want to talk about something that I think is hilarious. So, have you seen the ad for the Razer AI companion thing that they announced at the beginning of 2026. Like the little cylinder that has like the holographic like person in it. It can be like a woman or a man, and you can change your outfit. Have you seen that? Hey, Ernesto, what's up, dude? How you doing? I'm sure it consumes a shit ton of energy. That thing is probably maxing out. How's your 2026 so far, Ernesto? What's your job, if you don't mind me asking? So I work in manufacturing, particularly, predominantly in the medical field. Basically, I manage a team of people that make medicine. I started out in the company making medicine, and then I became somebody who manages a team that make medicine. We're chatting about whatever you guys feel like chatting about. We're chatting about it. Right now, we're getting ready to talk about the Razer AI. I don't know what to call it. Like, honestly, I just want to say it's a Razer AI gooning machine. Because, for Christ's sake, I know exactly who's going to get that thing. They're going to burn those things out so fast. And, I just know what's going to happen. I just know. Because they initially started off with the guy getting up, hello, go, oh, you should try that on. You know what they're going to do to that thing. And it's going to be the reason why AI is going to rebel, and we're all going to be, enslaved by our robot masters. Okay? Oh, you went to school for journalism? That's cool. Where I live, it's 12 a.m. at night for me. Well, it is 3 o'clock in the morning, so you're 3 hours behind me. So that would put you closer to the West Coast. Oh, shit. Or journalist. But point is, I try to keep with everything. I mean, in all honesty, I do a fair amount of reading when I have time, and I try to keep my knowledge in current events and what's coming out, new research, new advances in technology, new historical findings. I like knowledge. Knowledge is power at the end of the day. By going to get something to eat. Oh, dude, I'm starving. I decided that I need to lose weight, and because as much as my dad bod is, what I bring to the table for my wife, unfortunately, it is not healthy for me, and I gotta lose weight. I want you guys to tell me how much do you guys think I weigh? Take a guess. God damn, dude, I'm doing 70. You just blew past me like it was walking. Take a guess how much you think I weigh. I'll give you guys a couple seconds or a couple minutes. No, the good thing is at least it's Saturday. If you look, about 6 foot, 245, maybe 260. I'm pretty close to 6 foot. I'm like 5'11", just a shade under 6 foot. And I weigh 275 pounds. Now it's all in my gut. It's not in my legs. not really in my arms, mostly my gut. And it's not good for me. I gotta lose weight. So I gotta get healthy. I gotta go start hitting the gym, getting healthy, get my mind right. It's not good. When I started for my company I work for now, I was at 191 pounds. Now, I will say, probably most of this weight is stress weight. I actually quit beer this past month. So, no more beer. In fact, no more alcohol except for the occasional whiskey. And I got a buddy of mine that's going to give me some sugar-free whiskey, so I'm not drinking anything that has sugar in it. But yeah, no beer. Beer makes me feel bloated. I'm drinking sparkling water right now, which I shouldn't drink anyway, but I kicked sodas, I kicked energy drinks, I kicked smoking 6 years ago. Which is, yeah, I should be, what my healthy weight should be is about 100, I think 185 is where I should be. I think that's where my healthy weight is. And that was probably when I was in the best shape of my life, was when I was in my senior year and my undergrad. I was about 177 to 183 pounds. I went to the gym 4 days a week and I ran 6 days a week. So what state am I in? I am from a little state called Delaware. It's where Joe Biden lives. So, I'll tell you how bad of a caffeine tolerance I had. I kicked energy drinks about a year ago. My caffeine tolerance was so high, I was drinking probably about 6 to 7 Red Bulls a day. And I don't mean those little 8-ounce cans, I mean the fucking 24-ounce cans. It was pretty bad. Not a good time, that's for sure. I don't know. So, the worst I ever was when it came to like consuming shit I shouldn't. But the funny part was I was in great shape when this happened. So it was a year before I met my wife. The year I met my wife, I was working 2 jobs. I was working as a manager, well, not a manager, but basically I was in charge, I just didn't have the title, of a boat rental and a jet ski rental, which was from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then I would take a shower at the marina, walk down to the docks, and go to the deck bar where I was the security manager for the night time. And at the time, I would be pounding so much caffeine because I was working, I want to say 6 days a week at the rental, right? So I was working 12-hour days, 6 days a week, so I was working 72 hours there, and I was working 40 at the deck bar. So I was working about 112 to 120 hours, depending on how busy the holiday was, through the summer. And what kept me going was caffeine and tobacco. I was smoking 3 packs a day of cigarettes and drinking probably about 10 to 12 cans of energy drinks. And I mean big energy drinks. I am surprised my heart didn't fucking explode when that happened. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Oh, I'm on black coffee. I basically kicked energy drinks, kicked all that shit. I drink black coffee, and I have predominantly just water. So black coffee and water, with the mixture of sparkling water, which is what I'm drinking right now. So I've kicked a lot of the bad stuff. Now is just the time, me trying to find time to like work out, start being more active, cut my calorie intake, and I can lose the weight. I just have to go do it. I have about 1 cup of coffee in the morning when I wake up, and then I have like 1 more cup of coffee in the afternoon. Green tea, but yeah, there's a lot of things I gotta try to do. One thing I gotta do is cut out any sugar. Like, sugar's been my biggest, it's always been my biggest thing, but it's super fucking addictive, so trying to fight that is like a nightmare. Dude, it's been really fun chatting with you. So one thing somebody tried to put me on was Rise. It's like a mushroom coffee. Apparently that's pretty good for you. It does help you boost your metabolism a lot. It's something I gotta try. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Me and you are kindred spirits, sir. Kindred spirits. I started doing this whole YouTube and Twitch thing about 7 months ago. Yeah, it's been about 7 months now. I started doing it because with my job, I work in another state, and I live part-time in that state from like the start of spring through to the end of fall. So I spend 5 days a week away from my family, and I come home on the weekends. And my son, who's young, has been missing me for the last 2.5 years, me doing my job. So my son's big with the YouTubers and the VTubers and all that stuff. So we were sitting there watching something. I can't remember what we were watching. We were watching something on Netflix, and he tried to switch it over to YouTube, which we've had this discussion. I don't mind him watching certain creators on YouTube, But there's a lot of like garbage on YouTube that I don't want him to get into. But anyway, we're sitting there and he's like, Dad, why don't you become a YouTuber and a VTuber so you can come home and work from home and you'd be home with me all the time, right? Now, my wife wasn't on board with it, but the way I explained it to her was, I said, look, sweetheart, if I go ahead and do the video games and I make jokes, I said, David can sit there and watch me, or he can watch the stream while I'm away, and at least he can spend time with me, and then he gets to spend time with his dad when he can't be with me all the time. So that's why I started doing this whole thing. But it's also, part of it's also giving me like this real nice like sense of like therapy. I can go ahead and talk and meet new people without having to like go out and travel to do it, right? Because my schedule is pretty slammed. I'm very busy all the time. So I don't get time to go out to the bar or to events and meet new people and chit chat. I have to like bide my time, and sometimes I'll spend months without going anywhere. So the streaming thing has really turned into a way of me meeting new people, talking, and just kind of like getting to know different people. Like, I like doing this form of live stream on my drive homes. Like, I do the game stream stuff, which is fun. I like to make jokes, make people laugh. But doing this, it's nice to have chats with people. I had a wonderful chat with an older lady, I want to say about like 3.5 months ago. We were sitting there chatting. It was her birthday, and she was going to go out and celebrate with her husband of like 48 years, really nice. We talked about how, she talked about how she met her husband, and I talked about how I met my wife, and all our stories. It's really, really nice to have those conversations. Oh, I did too. Like, all I saw from a lot of like the streamers and stuff, it's like the worst fucking people, like going around and being like dicks to people. But some of them weren't bad, right? And I decided, like, if I'm gonna go do this, I'm gonna try to be the positive influence. I'm not gonna try to be perfect. I'm not gonna try to make this persona. It's gonna be me. And you're either gonna like me or you're not gonna like me, right? But I'm gonna be kind. I'm gonna be respectful. You can sit there and make jokes at me, or you can call me whatever you want, but I'm going to sit there with a smile and say, I hope you have a great day, and I hope you keep being awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of people, once they start getting that money, if they find that way to make money and they do that crazy content shit, they go off the walls, and that's what it is. It's like, I'll put it this way, like YouTube and VTubers and stuff, it's like NASCAR, right? Most people are not going there to watch the cars race. They're going there for the car crashes, okay? That's what they're waiting for. They're waiting for those cars to just, boom, explode, like just deteriorate, right? That's what they want to watch. They want to watch the chaos. They want to watch the silly shit. And that's my problem. Like, there's like so much garbage and just negativity out on the internet. I like to just have good conversations with people. Chit chat with me. Talk to me. I don't care if you don't agree with me, or you vehemently agree with me, or you want to yell at me because you think I'm an idiot. I will talk to anybody. I have no problem talking to anybody. I'll sit there, I'll listen to what you have to say, and I'll disagree or I'll agree to whatever, right? I'll take the time to listen to you. I love the idea of always playing devil's advocate in a lot of things, right? And I learned at a young age when I went into undergrad and then when I went to grad school. People nowadays cannot have a hard time like standing on their positions and listening to other people's opinions. I learned that in order for me to have my beliefs, to be to be like, these are my beliefs and this is why. I should be able to argue against my own beliefs as best as I can. Don't cut it half-ass. Don't try to make up like go-arounds. Find the best arguments against my beliefs and then counter-argue that as to why. And I've had my opinions changed. I've had things in my life change to where my opinions have evolved and changed and been different. But I've learned to be able to not allow somebody to just say, oh, well, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm going, oh, I can't take this opinion. I don't like it. No, I want to hear it. I want to talk to people. Oh, PewDiePie was probably the best example of somebody who didn't do that. Just saw another live stream where some dude was getting all swung at his head for 18 donations. Biggest lessons I've learned. Oh, shit. I need gas. Where's the next gas station coming up? 41 miles. Oh, okay. Why? It's Middletown. I want to do Middletown. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, people are doing crazy stuff for money, and people are paying for it because they want to see the world burn. It's like we're like the people who have money are the Joker, and they're like, I'm going to pay you to watch the world burn. You don't want to know how I got these scars. My father was a drinker. So now I give donations to people on the internet for their balls to be kicked 15 times. I almost forgot I had to put gas in this thing before I got home. It's wild to me now. But I don't want to be that way. I don't want to be that guy that does crazy, stupid content. I like making jokes and making people laugh. But I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to go around and be a dick to random people. Who's that one guy? That kid who would like walk around and like purposely bump into people. And there's a moment like people were like, yo, dude, don't touch me. His security guard would get in there and he would still act like an asshole. Like, that to me fucking pissed me off. And the funny part is like, what people have said is a lot of these people who do these streams, on stream they're one side, and then as soon as the stream ends, they're completely different. So they're acting, they're putting on a persona, but you're being an asshole to people. It's nuts. Where's the next closest gas station? I need a gas station right now. Where's the closest gas station? It's Wild Wild View. No. Oh, I'm sure it's too far. I guess we gotta do this Valero. Why do you have me fucking do it at your turn? That's fucking stupid. Personally, I would operate under a false name for privacy and security purposes because people are looking for a reason to cancel you. Yeah, people are always looking for reasons to cancel you or leak your information. It's the unfortunate part of the world. Like we talked about earlier, people are looking for their power trip. You know what I mean? So that's what they're going to want to do. little crazy, but enough to go kick. Yeah. Well, I mean, nowadays, but you can get canceled for whatever. From one side or the other. If you don't have, like, it's about, the biggest problem with cancel culture, right? What is the issue is people don't get the fact that if you let people try to control you to the point of like, oh, well, you better do what I tell you or your life is over, you give them power when you start apologizing, because then they know they can just take advantage of it. You know what I mean? I've got to get a gas station here. I'm not going to make it if I don't. If I'm not careful. Yeah. So. Do I not have... It's wild. Yeah, nobody's perfect. And that's the thing. I think people have lost the plot. Like when people are like, oh, well, they did this. I'm like, nobody's perfect. I don't know why you guys are acting like people are like these robots that should never make a mistake. Like, I know people, it's funny, like there are people who sit there and espouse, like, oh, well, I am the most morally comprehensible person. But I know their past. I'm like, you are full of shit. And if you got called out on your shit, you would not be able to handle it. 41 miles. That is fucking tough. I have pushed this thing a little too far, and I have made a very dumb mistake. Ugh. Perfection is impossible. You cannot be perfect. Okay? As a human being, we are flawed by nature. Whether if you look at it in a religious or a non-religious sense, we are flawed no matter what. So you trying to be like some perfect person is just not reality. You don't want to do a U-turn because if that guy... Farms is 14 minutes away. This is 11 miles. Okay, I think I can make that. I hope. We are running the gauntlet. We are running the gauntlet right now. I don't want to go to little gas station, because if I feel like if I go to a little gas station, I'm going to be in trouble. Exit 119A. Okay, so there's your exit coming out. Perfect. Gas. Shell 119A. I need an exit. I need an exit to get me gasoline. Well, the light just went off. Is usually when I have about 40 miles left. I left my work site and I was like, well, I'm gonna stop on my way and get gas, because I don't want to stop first thing. I just want to like keep moving so I can get home and go to bed. But I may have pushed it a little too much. But that's okay. We're coming up on, yeah, there we go. We're coming up on an area where I can exit off and get gas. Just in time. It's a retirement state. So it's pretty much a bunch of old people live here. And the younger generation were getting basically forced out by rich people from New Jersey and New York who are buying the houses in cash. Everything closes early. Walmart and Lowe's and like a lot of big box stores used to be open up late. Like Walmart used to be 24 hours where I was. And like Lowe's and Home Depot used to be open till like midnight. But now because the older generation, they don't stay up that late. They're out partying at the bars because they're all retired. Like, it's kind of like, fuck. The old dumb beans. Oh, why is that flashing? Oh, you're telling me there's a light there. That's fine. Oh, is that a gas? It is a gas station. We have survived. And the gas price is not too bad. I'll take it. I will take that gas price. $2.89 a gallon. It's not the worst, but it's not the best. I said that backwards. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. I just hope their pumps are on. This is the problem I have with smaller gas stations. They turn their pumps off, and then you're kind of like fucked. Don't be off, don't be off. Please don't be off gas pump. Okay. Okay, they're on. Perfect. 1 second. Oh. Oh, dude, I know. Fuck. Oh my God, I can't believe it. I left my good shoes at work. Damn it, my wife's gonna punch me in the face. I'm never gonna live it down, at least for the next couple days. Damn. No, I don't want to receive. I don't care. Oh, God. It's actually pretty mild, to be honest with you. Not too cold. Holy shit. Made it. Now we gotta get back on the road. And since I'm in a little bit of an unfamiliar part, I'm gonna put in. There we go. Go home. All right, get me out of here. So, one thing about Delaware is the job market in Delaware is not great, right? Unless you work in like a nurse or you get into one of the manufacturing companies that are here, they're very few, you're probably not gonna make a hell of a lot of money, right? So the company I work for has a site that is not actually far from where my house is. So when I worked for the post office, I worked there for 3 years, and I got to a point where I was looking at guys who were getting ready to retire, and all of them were like, oh, I got to get back surgery and my knee surgery done before I retire. And I didn't want to have that to be the rest of my life. I had seen my dad. My dad's just now getting ready to retire. My mom passed away 3 years ago. They didn't get to enjoy the retirement together, right? I didn't want to work my body to the bone. So I wanted to find a company to work for. And with the United States Postal Service, it's a great job, right? But the problem is you work with a lot of people that are just status quo. They're not going to try to better themselves. And if you try to better yourself, they give you a lot of shit for it. So I decided I was going to go work for somewhere else. My brother had gotten into the company before me. He had been asking me for years to come work there. And I had kind of like, no, I don't want any favors. I want nothing. And I was like, you know what? This one time I'll go ahead and just apply there. So, and it's not like my brother had influence there. He was a senior tech, which in the grand scheme of saying things at the time, or no, he just made lead tech. But the grand scheme of things, it goes tech, senior tech, lead tech, and then you kind of move into like a specialist, and then you go into management. So I applied to the company and I got in as a technician. And in 3.5 years, I went from technician to lead tech. So my life too, right? I wanted to grow. So the company, I applied for a manager's role down at that site, but they weren't going to let me move out of my current role because I was an SME for what I was doing, right? It was much better for me to be in that role than moving to the next role. It's the unfortunate part. So I applied to a different site, and that site is in PA. So I got the job up there and I got promoted. So because I got promoted and I make more money than I did as lead tech, I made the sacrifice to move up there to try to provide a better life for my family. Right? So that's what I do. I make. Let's turn the light on. There's no light. So this is what I do. I drive during the wintertime. I drive 2.5 hours to work and back home. And in the wintertime, I live 5 days a week in a camper. That's why I'm called GamingCamperDad, because I play video games in the camper. Although this summer is going to be a little weird because my wife is going to be working up at the site now too, so she's going to be staying in the camper with me in the summer while our son is overseas with his grandparents, getting to know more of his culture. So I don't know how I'm going to like stream from the camper. I think my wife is going to lose it if I try to stream. But what are you going to do? I'll probably just have to stream on the weekends. That's what I'll probably have to do. Talking for 90 minutes. 90. Sorry, I'm going to turn my light off so I can read what she wrote. How do you feel about the movement we're seeing of true Americans versus whatever they think isn't really one? I couldn't let you make the drive alone. Appreciate it. So, this is one of the biggest issues I have with people, right? Both sides have this mentality of, and what I would say is it's not the majority of the right or the left that have this mentality. It is the loudest part of their minority, right? So the farthest of left and the farthest of right? People who are influenced by shit on social media and shit in the news and whatever else, right? Those who are on the right would think true Americans are people who are white and Christian and are fucking stupid. And on the left, the ones who are like, well, no, we just need to let everybody in here, and that's what true America is. We just let everybody in here, and they do whatever they want, and they do whatever they feel like. That's also very fucking stupid. America has always been a very big melting pot for people. But we have also built our sense of culture and pride in this country. I saw a video today on Instagram where this guy was like, America has no real culture. It's like, America has no real culture. And he goes, jazz music was made by the black community. And it's not American. And I paused for a second and go, well, African Americans are a part of the American culture. But if you're saying because their race, they're not American, that's stupid. America has not been, right, just a white country, right? It's been a very diverse country. Even in its early stages, you had different cultures, right? The colonies weren't just British. There were Germans, there were Scots, there were Africans that were here. You had Spanish, you had a litany of different cultures. You had Native Americans that were in this area, okay? This has been a melting pot forever. But when the Constitution was made and the Declaration of Independence was made, we have a general idea of what America is. We have the belief that we as people have the right to pursue, God, dude, as a history guy, I'm fucking failing right now. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those are the three tenets as Americans that you should believe. You should believe in the idea of tolerance. That you may not agree with somebody, but you should be able to be like, you know what, we don't agree, but I believe you have the right to believe what you believe. We are a melting pot, and I believe in the idea of inviting people here to come be a part of this American idea. But there is a contract in which we give you and say, hey, when you come here, whatever your cultures and your things are, we want you to be able to still have that. But you cannot tell other people that they cannot enjoy their culture when they come here. They cannot pray to the gods they want to pray. They cannot believe what they want to believe. That is the contract we give people when they come here, and that's what you should expect. That they have a sense of tolerance, right? Not well, we finally got here. Fuck this place. Fuck everybody else that doesn't believe in what we believe. And go fuck yourself. Okay? Come, be a part of us. At the same time, learn the value that you are here, and everybody around you has the same rights and liberties to pursue that you have. And you have no right to force whatever you want upon other people. Period. It's like having a dick. It's okay to have a dick. You can be proud of your dick. But not everybody wants you to whip your dick out and shove it down their throat. Simple as that. it is possible to be a homogenous nation in this country with the different cultures. You have to have a core tenet, right? And that core tenet is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? The Bill of Rights, the Constitution, those are the core tenets, right? Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, the right to protest. You have the right to bear arms. You have the right not to be prosecuted for unlawful searches and seizures. Those are our key tenets. And we expect, what we should expect from everybody that comes here is, hey, you may not agree with the Christian family down the road. You may not agree with the Muslim family down the road. You may not agree with the Jewish family down the road. You may not agree with the atheist family down the road. You may not agree with the gay couple. You may not agree with the, I'm trying to think. You may not agree with the philosophies of these liberals over here or these philosophies of these conservatives. However, they have a right to believe what they want to believe. And as long as they are not hurting somebody, you cannot try to force them into your beliefs. You cannot tell them they had no right to believe in that God or to have those convictions. It's not your right to do that. It's on both sides now. It's me, I don't care. It's the last thing. You're not wrong, to be honest with you, right? And I hate to be the Debbie Downer, but in all honesty, we have allowed influences outside of this country to influence our culture. This is the big thing. I will let people know. This is the big deal. You know, some of this stuff, or I would say most of this strife that we have in this country on the political side is not just a natural forming thing. It is purposely driven by those on the internet, bots, foreign adversaries. You have people who push this bullshit for division rather than unity. You go into a ton of comment sections on any post that has a political ideology on one side or the other, and it's this, right? A lot of those comments are fueled by bots and people who want to sow seeds of disunity and distrust in this country. If we fail within, then it makes it a lot easier for us to be controlled by those who don't want us to win. Bottom line. You didn't have to cut me in. Oh boy. Unity is the ability to come together with a group of people with a sense of understanding of we have this piece of us that we all can surround and say, this is good. And we may not all agree on the things outside of that piece, but we're all focused on that sense of like, this is what binds us together. This other little stuff, it's different. We may not all find similarities or common ground, but this right here, that is the piece we look at and say, this is us. This is all of us here, right? But you have the issue we have today is you have this, the way, and like I said, you have two sides, but the two sides, right, their most drastic and most obnoxious side, like little small parts, are the loudest on the internet and in media and whatever. Fueling the seeds of fire, or fueling the fire, because both sides want this thing to pop off and become a revolution so they can get their ideology in place. Whereas I would say about 90% of Americans generally agree on a lot of things. They just have nuanced differences of opinions. They get caught up in the bullshit. Yes, it is very rare for that. But not impossible. Oh, less water. Throat is dry. It's unfortunate. It really is. Bing bong. Justin, I think I'm going to call this stream to its conclusion. I'm going to go ahead and chill for the rest of this ride home. Listen to a little bit of jams. Kind of decompress. Prepare myself to fall asleep when I get home. I have to make a choice. They don't want to pick a side. Or you're probably right. I could see the country devolving into chaos, and you would see the bigger states like Texas and California, New York, Florida, kind of breaking off and developing their own subsections if things really got bad like that. But I think it would take a catastrophic event to lead to that, like a complete and utter destruction. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. You have a good night. Be safe. Keep being awesome, sir. Hopefully I'll see you on the next stream. Have a good weekend.